Well, here's the transmission out of the old truck. It's a 350. That's about all I can tell you. It's been sitting there 39 years. You know the seals have got to be shot, dry rotted. So I figured we'd tear it apart and give it a very, very, very cheap rebuild. But let me tell you about my experience with rebuilding automatic transmissions. I've done approximately one. Did it last year. It's in my 4-wheel drive, and it doesn't have second gear right now. So my track record on rebuilding these, it ain't real good. Actually, I think it's something going on with the brand new valve body that I put in it, and I will probably do like a middle of the week video maybe on it pretty soon, but I need to figure out what's going on with it. Anyway, let me start tearing this apart and see what we got. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm going to take this pan off like this instead of flopping it over, because there's no transmission fluid up here because it's been sitting there for 39 years. I want to keep it down here, so I'm going to try to get the pan off, just lift this up, and then get that pan outside. Alrighty, let me get a screwdriver, see if I can separate this thing. Alright, can I pick it up and scoot the pan over without breaking my back? Probably not. Oh me, oh my, this is not real light. I'm sort of getting it everywhere anyway. Well, this doesn't look good, wherever that is. Yeah. Well, I didn't think there'd be any fluid in it, but I was wrong. I was really, really wrong. Go ahead and get that filter off of there. Well, this makes a mess. Now, does anybody know where this little piece would have went? Has it got something to do with the dipstick? Maybe, probably. I bet so. That's probably what that is. Yeah, let me go find that old dipstick tube and we'll see. Yeah, I think that may be what that is. I ain't real sure though. Tell you what I'll do, sometime tonight I'll look up dipstick tube and see if it's got that piece on it. Darn. Transmission fluid everywhere. Everywhere. Let's go ahead and take the valve body off. Alright. Lots of bolts. The bolts are different lengths probably. Hope y'all are keeping up with this. Well, there it is. It came off. Look at here. What does the other side look like? Let's get the pump out. Ooh, we need the big one for that. Here is the pump. Let's look at it real quick. I'm assuming these are the, I think they call them the sealing rings. There might not have been anything wrong with this transmission, but I really hated to go to the trouble of putting the motor and transmission back in and then this not work and having to pull it back out. So I just soon give it a quick rebuild. How do you get this little fella out? I don't see any snap rings. That's what they call a wavy plate or wavy washer. Oh, it's wavy. There she goes. Oh yeah. Oh. All right, we'll set that to the side and we'll look at it here in a minute. Now, that one goes there. That one goes there. All right. Now, how do you come out, little fella? I don't know. I just don't know. How do you come out? I don't know how you come out, little feller, little feller. There's an itty bitty snap ring down in there. I can just barely see it. And there it is. Why won't you come out? Well, that little fella don't want to come out. Aha! There we go. Well, there's a ringy part. I believe there's a snapping ring right there. It's got to come out. Well, are you going to come out? There he goes. Snapping ring. Lay it on a doobie or a doobie or a doobie 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 doo. Well, this doesn't want to come out. Alrighty, well, I don't know how you get this fool thing out. What the devil? Alright, let me show y'all what I'm fighting with right now. This is like a key. This is part of the case. That's like a key. And then this part here is like a keyway. Well, it needs to rotate clockwise just a hair, but this piece up here I think has got it kicked counterclockwise. And I can't get it out. I'm just about ready to throw this transmission in the garbage and get one of the 4-speeds off the shelf over there and put behind it. Phooey on them automatic transmissions. Well, I've been wrestling with this for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I can't get this out. So I think I'm fixing to get violent, so you might want to close your eyes. Well, is that all it took to get that out? Are you serious? What the devil? This will come out. Come out wherever you are. All right. There's that. I'm going to set this out of the way for now. Now I guess we get to tear some of this stuff apart. Look at it. I don't know what you call these parts. You know, you got an intermediate, you got a, I don't know. I'm sort of lost when it comes to automatic transmissions. So if this goes back together, yeah, we'll be doing pretty good. Now here's some more clutches. Now they look pretty bad, yeah. So probably a good thing we decided to tear this apart. I'll leave that there. With that, there's another thrust washer. They have lots of thrust washers in them. It appears. All right, put that over there with that. Oops. Then let's get this one, whatever it's called. How does it come apart? Oh, I see. All right. There's some more clutches down in there. I need a screwdriver. There's a, I think they call that the pressure plate. It's real thick. And got lots of clutches. Come out, come out. Get there. They don't look bad, but I mean, I really don't know what I'm looking at. But no, I'll take that back. Oh yeah, it's got material coming off of it. Yep. All right, well, like I said, it's probably a good thing we tore this apart. Now this is a piston in here. I think, let me see. That's another set of clutches. I think what we'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and order new bushings, all new seals, and new clutches. But I may reuse these steels just because I'm trying to do it cheap. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, well, this will conclude the teardown of the transmission. No, it won't. I'm going to tear the pump down. Let's look at it. Come here, Mr. Pump. All right. That must be a return spring assembly there. Yep. Ooh, wipe this off a little bit. See if we got any wear. Yeah, we do. I can see it, but I can't feel it. We'll probably call it good. Look at the gears on the pump. I mean, it's got some wear, but I don't know what is too much. You can't feel it, you can see it, but you can't feel it. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I said earlier. I'm going to get new seals for, you know, sealing rings, the pistons, and all that. New clutches. Going to reuse the steels. And what else? Something else. Maybe not. I guess that's it. So let me go get on the interwebs and see how much that's going to cost me. Well, I got my rebuild kit in for the transmission, and it said it came with bushings. It didn't really lie because it came with two right there. But this transmission has 10 or 12 bushings, so I had to wait another 2 or 3 days to get the bushings. So I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all this off this table, and the clutches and stuff, I'm going to throw them away. I got to clean up all the other good parts. And I left a piece down in the transmission, and I made a little puller. I'll show you how it operates here in a minute. But anyway, I got to get all of it cleaned up, and then I guess we'll go to putting it together. Here's my little spring compressing tool I just made. All I did was bend 2 90s on this flat piece of metal. Weld a piece of all thread to it. Then it'll go through this, put a nut on it, and tighten it down. What it is, I think this is a low reverse clutch, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, right here, there's a spring. Got to get all that out, and then you got to get this piston out. You know, change the seals. So let me get this set up, and I'll show you if this little spring compressor is going to work. All right, let's see if this thing is going to work. All right, let me get my fleece leak. See. Yeah, that might work. This here, I got to scoot it around. See what it does. I don't know if it's working or not. I think I just tore it up. I think I just tore it up. All right, I got the snap ring off. There it is right there. Oh, here's another part of the clutch. Now I'm going to release the pressure, so y'all watch out, because it could come flying out. All right. Well, it worked, but not very pretty. It bent this up a little bit, but I'm gonna try to straighten it up. Now I need to try to get that piston out some kind of a way. I don't really know how that's gonna happen just yet. That ain't it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! I have to save that filter, because the kit don't come in one. So put that right there. Now, maybe it's right here. Look at there, I think that was it. Oh yeah, it come out. Look at there. Them seals probably would have been okay. But anyway, we'll rebuild it. It is completely disassembled now, so I'm gonna get these parts outside, start cleaning on them, and then I think first thing I'll do is put new bushings in. Well, I got everything cleaned up. I got some stuff over here cleaned up too, but we're not quite ready to put it together just yet, and here's why. This is the output shaft, and then this is your input shaft, and I don't know what clutch that is. Anyway, she's pretty wore, and that input shaft right there is really wore. Well, I don't know how much they cost, probably $100, $200 for both of them. I'm not spending that. So what I'm going to do is take some memory cloth and going to clean this one up. We're going to clean that one up. We're going to call it good, put it back together. We're going to try to clean her up just a little bit. Well, I think that's about all I'm going to be able to do to it, because you know it's got some pretty deep grooves in it. So my main concern is, does this seal off any transmission fluid? Because on I believe it's 4L80E, you got some bushings that actually sort of seal off the flow of fluid, and if the bushings go bad, well, then you can't get the pressure that you need here and there and everywhere. But I don't think this one does that, but to be honest, I don't really know. But I believe what I've got here is going to be better than it was. Well, I got this shaft polished a little bit too, but it feels like that edge, that end of it right there, is rolled up. Well, I don't really know because I can't check it, because my bushing set is missing a bushing. Guess which bushing it's missing? That one right there. So I've been waiting for a week for parts and bushings and whatnots. Well, I guess I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer. This bushing kit came from Summit, and I just got done talking to them. They told me to keep this one, and they're going to send me another one. Hopefully it's going to have that bushing in it. So since I get to keep these, I think we'll go ahead and start putting them in all these parts here. Then once I get that done, we can start putting guts in here and check the clearance. So let me get started doing that. I reckon we'll start with this pump. I don't know if this is the housing, the stator. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot to hit record. Already knocked the bushing out. But let me show you this. I don't have a bushing driver set big enough for some of these bushings. And I completely forgot about this set of drivers I had. Somebody give me this, I don't know, a year or so ago. It's in a bucket over here. And I want you to know that I believe this bushing driver set was made for a 350 transmission, because I got a driver for every bushing. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let me get started putting this bushing in. I believe that's the one right there. Yep. And the reason why I'm so excited about having a bushing driver set is I normally don't have a bushing driver set. You have to use a socket or a piece of pipe, and that messes the bushings up. So maybe I won't be messing the bushings up this time. That looks pert near good right there. All right, who's next? Who is next? Let's do the other part of the pump. It's got 1, 2, 3 bushings in it. So that one there's going to be aggravating to get out, I believe. I'm having to use a chisel to knock these bushings out. And well, let me tell y'all this before I go any further. I don't know what I'm doing here. I've watched a few videos on the old YouTubes. There's two guys I watch. One of them is, his channel name is Automatic Transmission. The other is Precision Transmissions. And both of them are really, really good. Precision Transmissions is more performance oriented, and the Automatic Transmission channel is more stock rebuild, and he goes into great detail most of the time on how to rebuild one. So I watched his video 2 or 3 times, and then the Precision Transmission guy, like I said, he's performance oriented, and we're going to do some little tricks to this thing to make it shift a little bit better. But anyway, I don't want y'all to think I know what I'm doing, because I don't. But one trick that they show you is when you get these bushings out. Well, let me show you here on this one, maybe. See right there? It looks like a puzzle piece where it's put together. You want to try to hit it there, because it'll come apart easier. But I don't see that on this one. So I'm just going to randomly pick a point and try to cut that bushing in two. Now, I have never in my life seen a bushing that dead lame aggravating to get out. Good gracious. I hope the rest of them go better than that. Alright, I guess I'll put this one in. I'm pretty sure this driver set is homemade because, you know, I haven't used a bolt, but hey, I don't care. It seems to work pretty good so far. Alright, we got that bushing in, and believe it or not, I'm using Vaseline as the lube. I've read that they use Vaseline from the factory, or did, I don't know about now, but you can get what's called trans gel. It's a couple of different kinds. One's a little stiffer than the other, but I'm just going to use Vaseline. Anyway, let's do a trial fit. Let's see if this fits. Oh yeah, that fits lovely. Now there's 2 more on this end that I got to try to beat and bang out. So I don't know if I'm going to show that or not, because that's really, really aggravating. And by the way, I turned my fan on so you're hearing it blow. And the last couple of videos I've done, I've been running a fan blowing on me. The audio has been terrible. So I'm thinking about getting a little lapel mic. Hopefully maybe they'll cancel that noise out and y'all can hear me better. I tell y'all what, today is really, really getting on my nerves. Ain't nothing going right. And the camera just cut off. Why? I don't know. It had 40% battery. It just decided to cut off. Anyway, I'm ready to put these 2 bushings in. So let me figure out which ones it is first. I think it's these 2. I think it's these 2 right here. Yeah, that looks right. So, which driver shall it be? That one right there. I'm just really excited about this little driver set. I think it's freaking awesome. Alright, there's 2 in here. One of them goes way down here. So this could get interesting. I'll get my big one here. Not quite fur enough. I gotta go down past this little hole, about even with this race right here. Ain't quite there. Now let's try it and see how it fits. Oh yeah, look at that. Just like it was meant to be there. Now let's get the second one in there. That first one I put in, you gotta be below that hole. Make sure you ain't blocking it. And then this one here, It's got a chamfer. Make sure it's below that chamfer. I believe that right there will work. Alright, let's test fit it. Oh, look at there. Who's next? Who's next? Let's do this little feller here. I ain't sure what you call it. It's some type of a sprag clutch, one-way clutch, whatever you want to call it. I don't know exactly what it's called. Anyway, it's got a little bushing. We'll put it in. I'm gonna use it to drive out the old bushing. Then we'll put the new one in. Go a little bit further. That's about where it was, so that's where I'm going to leave it. I believe this one goes right here. So let's test it out. Oh yeah, right out there. Or does it go like this? It might go like that. Either way, it still works. Does this fella have a bushing in it? Oh yeah, it sure does. Oh yeah. And it's like the other one, it's got a little bit of a chamfer, and you want to go just below that chamfer. I believe that'll do it. Let's test fit this little fella right here. I believe it goes on like this. Oh yeah, look at there. Let's do the sun gear bushings. Let's do the other one. Alrighty, let me lube them up just a little bit. I think these go on the output shaft. So let's try it, see how it fits. Maybe it goes like this, maybe not, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right, look at there. Look up there. Oh yeah. Come on off now, there you go. Alright, next I guess we'll do the tail shaft housing. As you can see, I did a lovely job of cleaning that up. I'm telling you, I despise cleaning stuff. Well, it doesn't want to work. So, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Jam a screwdriver down in here, maybe. Oh, yeah. I need to get this bushing out. Oh, yeah. We can get this bushing put in. Oh yeah. Now, where are my seals? We'll go ahead and put this seal on, and I forgot the pump housing seal we'll put it on too. Most of the time I just use a block of wood on the seal. Like a brand new one. Alright, let me get this case over here. That's the bushing I'm replacing right there. Let me get that done and I'll be right back. Oh yeah. Alright, that bushing we just put in, it's for this output shaft. Remember, it's one of them that's really wore. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, it's part of the output shaft. Let's just see how sloppy it is. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Look at that. Good gracious. Let me tell you this. reason I'm not worried about that, the reason I'm not buying new shafts for this transmission is because the only thing I want this transmission to do is get the truck home. I have an ultimate goal for this truck. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. But it does not involve this transmission. It will be an overdrive transmission is what I'm going to put back in it eventually. And I'll tell you about the ultimate goal before the end of the series. But it does not involve this transmission. Alright, I went ahead and put the seal in on this pump. So I think now it's time to start putting stuff together in the case and check the clearance. So let me get set up for that and I'll be right back. Alright, let's go ahead and start putting it back together so I can put some of the stuff in the case and check the end play clearance. I'm putting Vaseline on this mostly just to hold it in place. That's a little bit too much right there. Oh goodness. Let me get this one here on the other side. Just like that right there. I believe this part goes in there, put a little bit of lube on this surface here. Oops. Almost forgot. Almost forgot. Alright, that is the rear planning, I think is what they call it. I don't know. Alright, this one goes right here. Then lube up this side of it. And it shall go on this piece here. Just like that. Just like that. And this one goes on the other side. And again, I'm putting it on the back side just to help hold it in place, make it stick. And also, if I have not mentioned, this is not a tutorial of how to put a 350 transmission together. This is me fumbling through it and having to refer to the video quite often. Now, what is next? Then you've got this one here. It goes on, this is the center support. I think I was calling this center support. No, I don't know what that is. I believe this is the center support. We're going to grease her up a little bit. Get out of here. All right, let's go ahead and get these clutches out of here. Come out. Alright, I'll have to clean this up. But let's just look at these ones. Oh yeah, look at that. That's steel. It didn't turn blue, it got so hot. So well, let me show you the other clutches too. Yeah, that's pretty bad there. Here's some of the other clutches. You can see it's done more. All that there. It needed to be rebuilt. I'm not sure that would have ran like it was. This may be why this truck was parked. I believe that's a wavy. I'm going to have to keep it. The rest of this is junk. Now, this piston. There's a snap ring there somewhere. I got to compress this center thing to get that snap ring off. So, I don't have the, they got a little press you put these in and it presses it down. I don't have that. So I use vice grip clamp, C-clamp, vice grip clamp. So let me get them. This is how I did it on the 4L80E in my truck. It worked pretty good. So hopefully it'll work here too, if it'll be steep. All right, let's see, where's the end of the snapping ring? Right there. Around here where I can see it. I gotta have some snapping ring pliers for that. Come on now. Being aggravating. Oh yeah, I got you now, sucker. I got you now. Oh yeah. Now, let this go. Oh, we won't. Oh yeah, it did. Alright. You know what? That's gonna be real fun. Real fun. Put it back together. Well then. Alright. Just got a seal here. Got a seal here. Now we'll give them a little lubrication. A little Vaseline. Here is the fun part. Getting these pistons back in there without losing your mind. You have to use a little feeler gauge. Get them seals past that lip there while you're pushing down on it. But you don't want to get rough because you don't want to cut the seal. It'll eventually go down in there. Here's one for me. Oh yeah. Yes sir. Now we got her going on. Now that we got the piston in, I'm using the tail housing as a stand. I got to put all these return springs in to get them situated. Then we can get the clutches put in. And you put this little feller here and here, make sure they're all situated right. And then comes the fun part. Trying to get these clamped where they need to go without everything flying apart. So when I get this done, I'll be back. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're going to put the clutches in. You start with the wavy first, then a steel, that clutch, then a steel, then a clutch, then a steel, clutch, in there. And the pressure plate. Then a big old snapping ring. Alright, that one there's ready. Alright, I believe this is what they call the direct drum. It does not have a wavy like the other one we did. This one here, this is the forward drum. It has a wavy. The reason for the wavy is when you're shifting, if you don't have that wavy, it'll just slam in and it'd be too harsh. But this is what they call the direct. I believe it's applied when you're going from park to drive, any forward movement gear. I believe that's what this is. And with that, you're not shifting, you know, at speed. You're just going into forward gear, so it don't need a weight. Also, modification on this: take this seal out right here, throw it away. Don't need it. Don't put one back, because this is the piston. It sits in there like this. if you leave that seal out, you've got this whole area and this whole area for the fluid to push. If you let the seal in, you only got that much area. It just, makes it apply a little bit harder. But you can't do that unless you do a couple other modifications, and I'll show you, when we get there. But for now, I got to change these seals here. Now, the main reason I'm leaving that seal out, I don't want to have to deal with 3 seals putting this piston in. So that's the reason why I'm not putting it back in. And again, you get your feeler gauge, and you have to work with it. Push it to one side and keep pushing down and going around, and eventually it might go in. There she went. Oh yeah. Now comes the fun part again. Get to do some more springs. I'll tell you what, I might go to the device to do this. I'll be right back. Alright, I just needed a better surface to get them clamps on. And you just put this here snapping ring in place. Turn them loose. And ta-da! Now, since this one don't give a wavy, we start with a steel, I believe. And you get a clutch. And you get a steel. And you get a clutch. And you get a steel. And you get a clutch. And a steel. And another clutch. And the pressure plate. And a snapping ring. Is that right? Snap ring? I think so. Yeah, that's it. That is it. Alright. Well, what I call this, the direct run, is ready. Now we will go ahead and put the seals on the intermediate piston. Intermediate means second gear, I'm pretty sure. It's got one on the inside, one on the outside. They both point that way. Alright, we'll go ahead and give them a little lubrications. And we'll set this to the side with its springs. I believe they call this the low reverse piston. That's the very first thing that goes in the case. These are not lip seals, they're just a square cut seal. And they're a little aggravating to get off, it looks like. Make me get angry with you. Well, let me get something different. We'll try a little bitty screwdriver here. Oh yeah. See, all you got to have is the right tool for the job, which I normally don't have. Alright, let me lube them up a little bit. I think we are now ready to start putting this together. We're not going to put the whole thing together, just enough to check the end plate. And if it's okay, we'll take it back apart and put it together like it's supposed to be. I'm not real concerned about the end plate because, like I said, this transmission, its purpose right now is get that truck from the woods to my house, and that's it. So as long as it's not too tight, then I'm not really worried about it. But I do want to check it just to make sure, that it ain't too tight. Make sure we got some clearance. Alright, what we got to do first is get the low reverse piston down in there. So let me lube this stuff up. Now this is just to test fit and check my end plate. Then we'll have to take it back apart and put it together for real. Alright, I got that lubed up. It's time to get this piston in. I've done tried this a couple of times and I have been unsuccessful because I can't get this notch lined up with that cutout place there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the piston where that notch is, and I'm going to mark in here where that notch is supposed to go. Right there. Then let's try it that way. See what happens. And turn about like that. And get down in there. Let me peck on it just a little bit. Oh yeah. I believe we are down. Now comes the really fun part. Getting these springs in here, getting that little cover over these springs, getting the snap ring in that. Not gonna be fun. I might end up not videoing this because, you know, I'm trying to keep it a PG rated channel. And I might lose my temper, might say a few words I shouldn't. Like right now. I think this time I'm going to use a ratchet wrench instead of the impact. That way, maybe I won't break anything. Alright, here we go. By George, I think it's going to work. Let's see if I can get this snap ring in there. I need to get two hands in there. Let me lay it down. I'll be right back. By George, I think we've got it. Yep. Seeing how I don't rebuild transmissions all the time, I don't have the little stand that you put it on. So, I just got 3 4x4s stacked on top of each other and just got it sitting there. That'll have to do. So let's start putting stuff in it. Alright, let's get this pump put together. If you remember, the little dot goes out and the little dot goes out. Let me put a little bit of lube. Put a little bit of lube on the outside of this. Here, drop it down in there. Put a little bit on the face of them, be alright too. But you really probably don't need to put none on this area, because there's no gasket and those need to mate up pretty good. Alright, now you got to put this on here, and the only way I know which way it goes is you keep turning it till your bolt holes line up. I think that was it there. Yeah, I believe that's it right there. Alright, now we're going to put this piston in here. This is the intermediate piston. Let me go get my feeler gauge. Now we're going to put the intermediate piston in. Got to get my little feeler gauge here. Start working it around a little bit. Oh, look at there. Look at there. Ha ha ha. Alright, let's get these springs on. Which way does this go? Like this? I think so. It only go one way because the bolt holes are not even around the bolt hole circle. So it'll only go one way. And we get our bolts in. Then what you want to do, get you a really big hose clamp down like this. Get it around that edge. Like that. Then we go get a turny thing. And you go to tightening. Tighty. Make sure that it's on there straight. Before you get it real tight, get you some bolts and stick it in the holes, make sure it's lined up. Just stick them in the holes Make sure it's lined up that way. Tighten on up. So now we can tighten these up. I believe we're ready to put the pump in the case over. Alright, time to put the pump in. I took all the sealing rings off. You don't need that right now, just to check clearances. I got to figure out which way this goes. I think it's just like that right there. Alright, let me get my torque wrench and I'll torque these two bolts down to probably about 15 foot-pounds. Well, according to the dial indicator, she's got about 68, 69 thousandths clearance. But, let me show you something. That's supposed to be in there. So, let me take this back off, put this where it goes, and then we'll check it again. Alright, I got the pump back in with the bearing on it this time. And it's showing about 56, 57 thousandths, somewhere in there. So, like I said, this, when it was put together from factory, didn't have any shims. I didn't get any in the kit, so this is what she's going to be. So now I got to tear all this back apart and then wait on the bushings. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow. Then we put it back together for the final time. Alrighty, the bushing set came in. I already put it in right there. That goes in there. It fits nicely. Also, I had to put this bushing in. I messed that bushing up yesterday trying to get it in. So I put it in today. Oh, and I had to make me a little driver for that bushing. That's it right there. So now, let me get the camera set up and we'll put this thing together for real. Ow. This is Tinkerbell. This is one of Mama's cats, and for some reason, she wants to help me put this transmission together. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. She never does this. Alright, we already got our low reverse piston in there. Got our little bearing down there, thrust bearing. Next, we'll put in our output shaft. Then we'll put in this half of, I believe this is called the rear planet. Put that half in. Then we'll put in this half of, I believe this is called the rear planet. Put that half in. Then we'll put our low reverse clutches in, and they do have a certain way they go. Get in there, little feller. Well, this is really aggravating. Oh, there you went. Well, this is just really aggravating. Alright, there we go. Next, we get an anti-clunk spring that goes right here. And I'm assuming by the name that it's going to keep something from clunking. I'm smart like that. Next, we're going to do the center support. Wide spot goes to wide spot. And we got to get that anti-clunk spring lined up. So this is probably not going to be fun right here. Not at all. Alright, there we go. I can't believe that. Wow. That never happens to me. Awesome. Then we put the snapping ring in, and it goes a certain way. This end has to go on this side of this anti-clunk spring. You don't want it riding on it because it can pop out. Let me get a screwdriver. See if I can get this little feller down in there. Just like that. Let's see how it's not riding over it. And get that on down in there a little more. And by George, I think we've got the snap ring in. Then we put this little thrust washer right there. Then we put the sun shell in, just like that right there. Then I believe this is called the forward planet. It goes in just like that right there. And it's got this thrust washer right here. Next, you put in this little snapping ring right down in here. And I'm probably going to have to fight with it for about 30 minutes. So when I get it done, I'll be back. Well, I didn't have to fight that at all. Cool. Then you take your, I believe this is the direct and forward drums. Drop them on down in here. You got to get these in the sun shell, plus those clutches got to go on that inside part. So you have to work with it. And it can be aggravating. I believe she just went. All right. Then this is the engine braking band, something like that. And it goes in that little notch right there. Just like that. Next we'll put in the intermediate clutches. This is the pressure plate. It normally goes in last, but on this here it goes in first on this clutch pack. And they all do go a certain way. You got 4 notches here. Alright, I got that turned backwards. Alright, then this one gets that wavy. And we talked about that earlier in another clutch pack. I might have told y'all wrong on that. I don't remember which ones get a wavy. I think they all get one except for the forward drum. I don't know. I don't remember. Which way does it go? I do not know. I think it goes like that. No, sir, that's wrong. It's very, very wrong. It goes like that. All right, let me show y'all something on these sealing rings on this pump. There's 2 here and there's 3 here. Well, remember when on the direct drum, I left that one seal out and I told you there was a couple things you had to do if you do that? Well, here's one of them. You leave this sealing ring off. The 1, 2, 3, you leave the middle one off. And then you drill 2 holes in the valve body plate. If you don't do that, you can starve that piston in the direct drum. And you don't want to do that. So anyway, let's put this pump on. And I guess we'll be done with the guts. See which way she goes. She'll go down here. Like this right here. Now you gotta be careful when you're letting this down. You don't want to break those sealing rings. And I believe it's already down. Yep, I believe she went down. And I believe the O-ring's down. Let me peck on it just a little bit with a hammer. All right, I believe that's it. Let me get my bolts. Here's something else too on these bolts. See these little washers right here? They'll come in the kit, so be sure to pull the old ones off and put these new ones on. Alrighty, well, let's see if it'll spin. Oh yeah, it spins wonderfully. Well, that concludes the guts. Now let me get it back on the table and we'll start working on the valve body and stuff. Alright, before I do the valve body, I want to go ahead and get this tail housing section done. And we shall start with the governor. The governor goes in like that. You get a new O-ring, goes around here. And it goes just like that right there. Now let me get a hammer and peck on that. Then it gets this little retainer clip right here. Let's see, we get this little clip here. Goes just like that. Then our speedometer gear. I don't think it matters which way it goes on. Alright, let's see how I do it. Just like that right there. Just like that. Oh yeah. Then we got this little fella right here. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure it needs to go back on, but I'm going to put it on because it was on there. I'm not even sure where it went, but there's a line right there, and that's where I'm going to put it. Now, before I put this tail shaft housing on, I want y'all to watch this. That is pretty doggone sloppy. You know what? I don't care. So, I'm going to put this tail shaft housing on, and I'm going to forget about all that slop. Alright, now that I got the tail shaft housing on, I think what we'll do is we'll flip it over. Actually, yeah, let's flip it over. And I'm going to put the modulator valve in. This is your modulator valve, and this goes in the case there, and then this here is adjustable one. Put your little straight screwdriver in there, and I think turning it in makes it shift later and harder. Running it out makes it shift sooner and softer. Alright, this is the accumulator. This is the accumulator piston. The modification you can do to this is leave that spring out, and it'll make it shift firmer, I believe, going from first to second. But here's the deal. I don't have any new O-rings for this piston, and you put it in here, and she's pretty sloppy. I mean, that O-ring that's on there, it ain't sealing nothing. So, I don't know why they didn't send O-rings for this, but all that I can do right now is put it in there. And if it's acting up, well, that'll be the first place I look. So anyway, let me go ahead and put this cover back on. Get in there. Now let me get that clip. Clippity clap. Come here, clippity clap. Get in, get in. It is in. Now, I believe we're ready to start on the valve body. So let me spin her on around. Alright, I am ready to put the valve body on, but let me show you the modifications I have done. This valve right here, the feller in the other YouTube channel, he says to put a little TIG weld right here. And I think the shift kit comes with a clip that you put in here somewhere. You don't want this valve to move, is what the goal is. I don't have a TIG welder. I don't have the clip. So I did the next best thing, and I made this little spacer right here that's going to go in that hole right there. This spring used to be in that hole. Well, bye-bye spring. This little thing right there is going to go in there, and then this is the plug that goes in the end of it, and there's a pin that goes down through there that holds that plug in. And that's going to keep that valve from moving, I hope. You know, it may work, may not, but how do you find out if something's going to work? Well, you just try it. Alright, on the valve body plate that goes between the valve body and the transmission, you have to drill out this hole and this hole here to 1/8 of an inch. It allows more fluid to get to the shift valves, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert on transmissions. I just know the feller on the YouTube said drill them two out, and it'll pretty much be like I've put a shift kit in. So now that I got all that done, let me put this little stuff in here. Then we'll get the valve body on the transmission. Alright, let's get this valve body and other stuff on. think we're going to start with a parking pole. Put that little fella right there. Put these voltages in here. Now let me lube that hole up. And this is the servo piston for the engine braking band. And here's this, I didn't have a new seal for it either. This kit, none of these pistons, it gave me a new seal, so I hope this stuff works. All right, now, these 350s usually have 4 check balls. Well, since I'm modifying it, you want to go back with 2. It'll be that one there. It'll be that one there. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I forgot those a minute ago when I went ahead and put that plate on. I'm not going to tell you that. Now, you put this plate on and stick a couple of bolts in it to help line it up. Let me get one of these. Put it right here. Now, you get this other plate, if I can find it, right here. And it goes just like so. Put all these voltages in. Next, you take this little S hook right here. You put it in there like that. And then you grab your valve body. And you got to get your manual valve. That's what this is right here. It's got a little hole there. And that's got to go in that S hook. Just like that. And you lay your valve body down. And start putting your voltages in. Alright, this is your kick down valve, passive gear valve, whatever you want to call it. I am not going back with that kick down cable because somebody cut it and I just don't want to buy another one. So there's a modification you can do where you don't have to have that. So let me show you what that is. Now normally your cable comes through right here and it hooks here and you'd go 1 pow and it would kick down. Well, you know, I'm eliminating the cable. This is the rod that used to go on there and go down in that hole. Well, what you want to do is stick it in here. Then this bolt here, you want to loosen it up, wrap this around that, and it's got to be, this is like a 2-stage valve. It goes down, and you feel it go down again. Well, you don't want to go down again. You just want to go down. And then you got to get that wrapped around there, like so. So, let me see if I can do that. After I pull this bolt out, then wrap it around, like that right there. Let me torque that back down. Yeah, I think that might work right there. Once you think you're right, well, you come in here and you hit that valve. You don't want to be into the second stage of that valve, so you just push on the end of it. And if you got a little bit of movement, then you're good. Now, you might be wondering, well, what are you going to do if you need a downshift? Well, you can still do it manually. That still works. It just won't kick down when you stomp on the pedal. Now it's time for the filter. Don't forget your gasket that goes there. And you put your filter about right there. Well, you drop your screw on the floor, then you put this other one in. Then you go get the one that you dropped, if you can find it. Found it. Alright, now, I believe we're ready for the gasket and the pan. Alright, let's get this pan on. And yes, the inside's pretty clean, but yes, I put in minimal effort on the outside. Why? Well, I just hate cleaning. Let me get the bolts in here and we'll get this tightened down. On these cork gaskets, you don't want to tighten them very tight. If you really wrench down on them, they're going to leak. So I'm going to go around and hand tighten them like this, and then I'll hit them with the ratchet. Alright, I've been around this thing several times. And I think I'm going to leave it right there and I'll check it again in the morning. But, unless I have forgot something inside of here, well, I believe we got a 350 transmission's rebuilt. Maybe it'll last long enough to get it out of the woods into my house. I've been dreading that for a few days, and I'm glad to get it done. Only thing left is get it hooked to that motor right there and get them both in the truck. We're one step closer to getting old Lockjaw out of the woods over there. I know this hadn't been the most exciting video, but it had to be done. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit the like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Bleep bloop.